Unscripted, unfiltered, unafraid. Welcome to the Macword podcast. I'm Michael Simon, and I'm joined as always by my colleague Jason Cross.
Good morning.
And producer Roman Loyola.
Ahoy there.
This is episode number 957. I should have waited one more week because we're going to talk about the iPhone18 today, and that would have been nice to have the 8s, but oh well. The iPhone 17 has been out for 5 weeks, maybe a month, and there's already a ton of rumors about the 18. There's a ton of rumors about the one after that. So we're going to get into all that stuff today, just to make the phone that you just bought that you love feel like it's already outdated, because that's right. How this works.
Yeah,
the thing you just bought, you already want the next thing. So we'll talk about the rumors, the release date, and all this, and whatever we've heard about it so far. And then we'll have our worst thing that happened this week segment, This Week in Apple History, and close with our reader mailbag. Speaking of which, you can contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads, search for Macworld, and look for that blue mouse logo. Don't have a dedicated podcast email. You can email me at Michael_Simon@foundryco.com. Tell me if you just bought an iPhone 17, got an iPad Pro, whatever's on your mind. Let us know. We'll talk about it next week or in a future episode. I actually got an email, Roman, you'll like this. I got an email from a person who said that they've been listening to us for a long time, and she hates the new format because we have too much stuff at the beginning. She's like, I was listening a couple weeks ago
or whatever.
Yeah. She was like, I was listening a couple weeks ago and you talked for 10 minutes about Superman. Like, I don't want to hear that. So,
all right,
Roman, set a timer for 3 minutes. So the show, if you want to fast forward the 30 seconds, then hit it 6 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the show, the main topic will start in 3 minutes. But Kathy, who is the person who wrote for me, this is for you. We're going to do this from now on. 3 minutes.
Kathy,
and that's
Kathy,
it.
I agree with you that we go
Jason's
too far. We go too long.
We do.
Go too long.
It's okay. We just start rambling. Maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that.
We'll see if it's interesting. We could blow by it. We'll have an idea of how much we're babbling.
Kathy, I'm sorry. That's my job to wrangle these.
I'm going to blame Roman.
These topics.
I'm going to reply to her and blame you.
And sometimes I get lost in the conversation, so I need to step back and remember to tell people to wrap stuff up. So I'll try and do a better job.
Right. And it's good timing because I'm personally exhausted. Because I was up till 3 a.m. watching that stupid Blue Jays Dodgers game that went 18 innings and just wouldn't stop. I was literally I fell asleep on my couch 4 separate times watching the damn game. It was tied for the longest World Series game of all time, and
wow.
6 or 7 hours. It was ridiculous, and ended finally on a home run by Freddie Freeman. And
there's just no forced end to baseball.
Well, there is. You can't end in a tie, but in the regular season, what they've done so this stuff doesn't happen to in the middle of May. You start after the 9th inning. You start with the runner on second base, so it makes it easier to score and the games end. You don't do that in the playoffs. So the playoffs just keep going.
But what I mean is there's no if the score's tied after whatever huge amount of time or huge amount of innings, then they just go to a pitch off or something
there's a shootout like a
shootout in soccer.
In the All-Star game, they had a home run like a little miniature home run derby to declare the winner. That was actually fun to watch.
Yeah, so they don't do that in the real season, though.
They do not.
That. So it's the equivalent of, like you said, a shootout in soccer.
In soccer.
So that would actually theoretically just you play for 9 hours and just
it could have kept going.
Okay,
they were literally there was no pitchers left. There was no subs left. If somebody got hurt, they would have had to stay in the game because there's nobody to replace them.
Right.
Roman, did you stay up? It was a lot earlier.
I did. Well, last night was, as we said last week, it's October Sports Bonanza. So I watched Monday Night Football, the Warriors game, and the World Series. All
that ended and started before the World Series game.
Yes, and I was flipping between the three and driving my son crazy because he wanted to watch basketball, and I kept flipping and.
And
at one point I was like, all right, hard cutoff at 11:30 Pacific.
Yeah.
And then 11:30 came and went, and I went, I got to stay. I have to stay in. I can't go to bed.
I had a hard cutoff at 11:32 and stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I was like, I'm invested. I have to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. At some point, it's sunk costs. And then at another point, you're like, well, I'm not going to not witness history.
Exactly.
Right. That's it. That's it. I'm like, if this thing goes 20 innings, I'm like, well, I went to sleep in the 17th.
Right. No, yeah.
It ended 20 minutes later, though. So,
do you care? Did you care? Do you like? Do you hate the Dodgers or like the Dodgers? I know you're a Giants fan, but Dodgers are California.
Yeah. So my fandom is complicated. As I told my son last night, I don't want the Dodgers to win, but I want Shohei Ohtani to win a World Series.
Well, he already did. I want him to win one. I want him to win another one. So because I like him, I want him to have multiple championships, and I want him to be decorated as the greatest baseball player ever. Well, sorry, Kathy, this is probably going over 3 minutes, but he made history last night. He was on base 9 times. He got walked 5 times, 2 doubles, 2 homers. He's just ridiculous.
So Roman, what's our timer at?
I was going to go another 30 seconds, and then so why don't we wrap this up?
All right. The crazy thing about baseball is that they have to play again tonight, which I can't even fathom how they're going to get out there and play another 9 or maybe more innings of baseball. Baseball is not like basketball where you're running back and forth, but it's exhausting. You're on your feet your whole time. You're swinging big, heavy bats. You're throwing balls 100 miles an hour. So that'll be interesting to see.
Well, I did yard work all day, both days, all weekend, and then again all evening yesterday, and I didn't get paid millions of dollars. So I think they can suck it up and get back out there.
And that does it. And that does it for Macworld Sports Talk.
Well, that's and next week we'll have to find something else to talk about because the World Series will be over. All right, okay. iPhone 18. Jason just wrote a kind of like a roundup. We call them hubs of all the rumors. You can check it out on our site. So, Jason, what do you want to how do you want to do this? You want to just go through things? You want to pick the top 3 things and kind of talk about them?
Yeah, and there's not much more than 3 things.
Okay, good, perfect.
If you think about it, some of it is this is just the yearly update stuff. There's going to be an A20, and it's going to be faster than the A.
Is that the 2 nanometer yet, or is that the one after?
It's supposed to be on the 2 nanometer process, and that's not as interesting as everybody always makes it out to be because you can that. It means they can fit more circuitry in the same area.
Right.
It might use more power or less power depending on how big they make the chip and how fast they run it, and all that. It has changes in process technology are improvements, but how they set the chip, it was it could save battery life, or it could not. They could just run it faster. So yeah, 2 nanometer. The most interesting part is that there's a new technology TSMC has to put the RAM on what's called a silicon interposer on the same piece of silicon with the chip. So you have the SoC, the CPU and GPU cores and the media encoders and all the other stuff. And instead of the RAM being a separate chip that right now I think they stack on top, so it would actually be on a silicon substrate. And all that really means is that faster RAM access with lower power.
So things will load quicker, maybe slightly.
I mean, loading speeds are when you're loading an app and stuff. That's as much about storage speed. That's about your SSD. That's storage speed.
When you're like a frozen state when you're going through your multitasking, it's already open, but you're bringing it back.
Yeah, that's pulling stuff out of storage. The flash storage, but RAM speeds are very important for AI, and it's very important for 3D graphics and stuff. Those are kind of the places where RAM speeds are a bottleneck right now. They're not a bottleneck for scrolling through your, Blue Sky feed or whatever.
Right.
That's not or Facebook or WhatsApp or any of the other apps you're using. Those are not limited by sort of memory bandwidth. But 3D graphics they still have a long way to go to catch up with dedicated 3D graphics things. And AI stuff always needs as much memory bandwidth as
right. So the 17, the Pro has 12 gigs. Is that?
Yeah.
Did it get more, or is that the same as the 16? No, they had 8.
No, that's new this year. Yeah, supposedly is that the Pro has 12 gigs and the non-Pro has 8, which is what everything had last year.
Yeah, right. And that's what like 8 is the bare minimum for Apple Intelligence to run properly.
We have no idea how much RAM. That's not part of the rumor. Right. It's just like, okay, 2 nanometer and this new TSMC wafer process that will let them kind of put the RAM closer to the chip, for lack of a better way to put it, which will speed up RAM access some.
And that'll presumably come to, I guess, the M series chips as well. The M6 would have a similar design, I would assume. Or do they already do that?
No, you would think that's it's a new thing that's kind of comes as, I don't want to say an option, but it's like it's a new TSMC technology that they're not going to really go to until they go to 2 nanometer. Mm-hmm. So that's, I would expect it to be first here, and then maybe in the M series chips that go along with this generation of products. So there's that. There's slight camera improvements. The designs aren't supposed to change really any.
Right. Well, they just got that. They just got the new design. This year. So it would be surprising if they changed it. I wonder if the iPhone 18 will get like the lower model, like the larger.
It's not supposed to. Okay. Yeah. The rumor is it's going to be just like the 17, just the smaller bump and the 17E. So no rumors on price. Everyone kind of expects the price to be the same. It's not an iPhone 18, but they do expect them to have an updated iPhone Air. And that may not be any different, except for they don't know anything about it except like they expect them to have an updated one. So that might be just a chip upgrade. Who knows?
Yeah. So right. So the rumors about that are kind of nebulous because some people say that it's not coming until maybe 2 years, and some people say next year. But I wonder, would it be the iPhone Air 2? Or would it be the iPhone 18 Air? Because it's odd that they did not call it the iPhone 17 Air, when it's clearly an iPhone 17 part of the iPhone 17 family. Yeah.
And strange. Or is it going to be iPhone Air parentheses second generation? Like
right. I could do that too. Yeah.
Tell you. We don't know. So, and then there's the whole folding iPhone, which we've done whole separate shows about. That's not iPhone 18. That's going to be super, super expensive. So for iPhone 18s, there's just the base model iPhone 18 and then a Pro and a Pro Max. They're supposed to look like the iPhone 17s do, kind of, there'll be color changes and little tiny, like, the glass pad for the wireless charging is slightly different on the Pros, that kind of thing. And then a camera upgrade, especially on the Pros.
On the Pros, to have something with the aperture would adjust. Yeah. Like mechanically.
And right now they're fixed. Every iPhone has a fixed aperture. It's as wide as it is, and that's it. There are such things as these little micro adjustable apertures, and I think a couple of Chinese phones have done this.
I know Samsung did it. I tested one, the S10 or maybe the S.
Yeah, they had one way back when.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
But even more recently, I think they've done newer ones, and the idea is that on the main camera, not on all of them, you would get that only in the Pro Max, not the regular Pro.
Okay,
that's what the rumor says, anyways.
Right, which we've seen that before.
Yeah, and it'll give you some control over the background blurring, the bokeh of things you shoot, but. The default now, the fixed aperture now is really wide, and it's as wide as it can go. So it's not like it's going to go wider and give you more bokeh. It's that it's when you have good light, it can go smaller and give you less if you want. Right. So you'll be able to have
super
more
wide
shots.
Now. For low light photography. So when you're shooting in when it's not ideal conditions, you don't get all that grain and that blur and that other garbage.
But what happens is you shoot outdoors, or you see something in bright light and the background's blurry, this will let you not have the background blurry. This will let you say, oh, just stop it down to like that. And then, all the cool camera stuff is coming like the year after. All the rumors of the cool camera stuff is coming the year after. So not a huge camera upgrade. There's a CPU upgrade. It might be great. This year it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was surprisingly good. So, I mean, we'll see how that turns out. Next year's not like a super exciting iPhone yet. These are the first rumors. Like you said, 17 just came out. We'll start getting more rumors in the spring that like solidify this. The biggest change, the biggest new thing that I think is going to affect everybody is that the base iPhone 18 is not supposed to ship in the fall.
Right.
It's going to go in the spring of 2026 with the iPhone 18e.
Right. So we could go 18 months without a new base level iPhone.
Yep. And more importantly, when new iPhones come out and they have a new number and new technology, only the expensive models will be out.
Right.
You're
Which is
have
the Pro and the Fold. Yeah.
The Pro, the Pro Max, the Fold, maybe an upgraded Air, but none of the $800 iPhone 18 will be nowhere to be found for 6 months. And probably not announced at the thing. They're not going to announce it and say, and it ships in March. Like they're not going to do that. So yeah, it's interesting because this year the base model is the clear
one,
and it's selling like crazy. And so this will solve that problem for Apple, where nobody's going to look at the lineup and go like, "But I get so much in the low end model." You won't even be there.
Right. If you want a new iPhone in September, you got to buy one of the $1,000 plus phones,
or October, or December, or January, or
So this time next year, according to the rumors, we'll have an iPhone 17, an iPhone 18 Pro, an iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the iPhone Fold, we'll call it, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and potentially a new Air.
Right, potentially new Air. So that's going to create some, I think, a little bit of confusion for people because the expectations Apple has set for 19 years is that the new iPhones all come out together, with the exception of the SE and the 18e or the 660.
The new E.
Yeah.
The new E ones,
so I'm curious to see how Apple spins that when
it's a big change to the schedule we've gotten used to.
Yeah.
It's not a dumb idea.
It's a good idea. It's just going to take some doing to explain it to people.
Yeah.
For one, it frees up so the fall is now like the premium phones, and then it's no longer an annual release. It's a 6-month release, and every 6 months there'll be a new iPhone. And, it's great for Apple's bottom line, of course, but it's also good for, expectations of people who are buying it. Like you'll see the expensive ones in the fall and you'll kind of get an idea of what to expect at the 18. And if you want the lower end one, you wait a few months. It's not, it's not forever. It's probably 6 months. And if you don't buy them. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, and plus we'll get a new event. I would assume there'll be an actual event every time they release a new iPhone. Like they're not going to just pop it up on the website. Yeah,
we'll see. Now that they would have more in the spring, it wouldn't just be the E model. It's the E model and the regular model. And they might even go further with this and just have things like the high-end iPads show up in the fall, but not the regulars. And then the regular iPads get updated in spring. The spring might be the whole time of year for like budget. I don't call them budget, but like the lower end models, the non-pro,
the plain iPad, the iPad Mini, the E. Yep, for sure. I mean, we've been saying for years that Apple needs to kind of get all of its products on a similar cadence as the iPhone, and this appears to be a step in that direction.
And just spread things out more.
Yeah. The iPad seemed to be on like a 18-month, like the iPad Pro has been on an 18-month cycle for a bit. And the other iPads are kind of annual. Like, I don't know. They're kind of all over the place, but maybe this will start making more sense next year.
Right.
So Dynamic Island, is it getting smaller? Because there's some rumors about that, but I just don't know when that's happening.
Rumors disagree. Some have said they're just going to have like a hole punch camera, just like the whole.
Right.
Others, including people like Mark Gurman, who are a little more reliable, say, no, it's going to stop. It's just be smaller.
Which doesn't even matter. Like, who cares if it's smaller?
I mean, like, how much smaller? Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah. But even if it is, like, it doesn't matter. It's not usable space up there unless you're watching a movie.
Right. What's supposedly happening is, so to do Face ID, you need camera, you need another kind of camera, and you need like several kinds of emitters. Right. You need a dot emitter and an IR, this and all this. There's a LiDAR. There's all this stuff up there, and they're combining some of that, and some of those things like those emitters and stuff might be able to go under display. Mm-hmm. But it's not, they're not putting like the whole thing under the display. There's not going to be an under display camera. The main camera isn't going to be the only thing showing. It's going to have more stuff, but it's just going to be consolidated some, and maybe some parts of this like 10-part system or whatever will be like under the display, and it'll make the island a little smaller. But like you said, it's not a big idea. Nobody's looking at their iPhone going like, I would have bought one if the little pill up there was smaller.
No, especially since they made the dynamic island like an element that you look at and you use.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't like if it's 18 millimeters thinner or shorter. Okay, great. But I still like I look at go back to baseball. Like I all night it's circulating with like sports scores. Right. And I use it. I look at it. Like I don't want it to be super small. Like I want to be able to see it.
The only real advantage, like you said, is like when you watch video, you want as little cutout as possible for watching, video. That's about it. And it's fine.
That's about it. Yeah. Games, it doesn't really get in the way of. And
not too much.
I mean, it doesn't really get in the way of video either, but it is, it is there.
Right.
So, but there'll definitely be a cutout of some sort next year. We'll get into other rumors, but there are rumors on the horizon that at some point everything will be gone. There'll be no cutout. There'll be no visible blemishes on the screen whatsoever. Maybe a year, maybe two, not a year, maybe two, maybe three. I don't know.
Yeah.
Samsung tried to do that under display camera thing, and it was horrible. Like it was so obvious that it was there, and it was awful.
There's been a few that try to do it, and you can, in the right light, you can still see.
Even in the wrong light, you can kind of see it. Like it wasn't attractive.
Right. Like you could see that the display had like essentially a hole behind it.
Right.
So it looked different than the display around it. Like it was showing colored pixels, but it wasn't the same as all the ones around it. So you still saw that area. And apparently it interfered somewhat with their ability to take really good photos. Like the photos weren't as good trying to go through the display. Like when you snap the photo, it blanks out those areas. But there's still circuitry and stuff there, like little microscopic OLED stuff that they have to like clean up and get rid of. It wasn't a great idea. I don't know if this under display circuitry stuff's ever really gonna be great enough that they'll get it working. So
I like the ones back in 5 years ago or something. I think it was OnePlus, maybe Oppo, had like little cameras that popped out of the thing. And then it would go back.
Oh, yeah, little mechanical.
Like those are awesome. Yeah, like completely unnecessary, but super cool.
Yeah, I can't imagine that survives.
Right, that's the
an
thing.
iPhone
you're
for
adding
5 years.
Parts for a part that you use multiple times a day.
Yeah,
you just ask
to waterproof it and all that stuff.
All that stuff. But it was cool to see in action.
It was cool to see him try. Yeah.
All right, what else we got? C2 modem. I have to assume is coming next year. We got the C1 and
that's
the C1X.
The rumor. It'll come to all the C1X only in the Air next year,
and the iPad now. But only in the Air.
Right, I'm just saying iPhones. Yeah. The rest have Qualcomm modems. Next year, they're supposed to all switch to Apple modems. The C2, we don't know anything about it except that it's better.
It's going to have millimeter wave if it's going to go in the Pro.
Probably,
ultra wideband thingy. Ultra wideband, is that what it's called? Yeah, because that's the only product. I think it's the only product in Apple's lineup that supports millimeter wave of the two Pro phones. So
ultra wideband's kind of a Verizon-y term because there is there's a real wireless technology called ultra wideband that they also support. That's what AirTags use and stuff.
Right. That's the precision finding thing.
Yeah. So like millimeter wave. Yeah, it's supposed to support that. It's supposed to basically be kind of on par with the best Qualcomm stuff. Is the rumor, But wireless stuff's tricky. We don't know anything till they test it.
Well,
we were surprised. We got C1X. Nobody was expecting it.
Right.
Everyone was expecting C1. They're like, we got a version of the C1 that's like twice as good. I'm like, oh, bro, what?
I have the Air. According to reports, I'm the only one who bought one. But I haven't had a problem at all with the wireless one. If anything, it's a little bit better than the 16 as far as getting coverage in areas where I couldn't before. Okay. But it's been perfectly fine. I mean, I haven't tested like battery drain or anything, but as far as connectivity goes and staying online and getting fast connections, it's good. And I don't miss millimeter wave because I don't even know where it is.
Yeah.
There's like random spots in Hartford where I live probably that support it, but I would have to stay within like a 2-block radius to take advantage of it. I
never know when I'm going to get on a millimeter wave connection. Right. And when I do, what am I doing? Like that I need that kind of like
that's the other thing.
One place I really noticed it, and for some reason, just because I was looking at my phone, I was looking at like the connections. I was in the back of I was at a grocery store that I don't normally go to, and I was in the back. And the backs of grocery stores are terrible for this, like notoriously awful, because you're just kind of going through a lot of interference, and there's a lot of.
It's like the only place where I hook up to like the local Wi-Fi because I can't use my phone in the store.
Right, because there's like big metal. Refrigerators and stuff like that. Like there's all this stuff blocking and interference, and it gets bad. And I was on ultra wideband. Like all of a sudden it just kicked in, and I'm like, is there another thing? Is there like a Verizon store just over there?
Yeah, right.
Like why am I suddenly on it? But all I needed to do was look at my grocery list. So like wow, I have the fastest access to my grocery list of all time. Like I don't. It's the and I feel like that about ultra wideband a lot.
When I first got I guess it was the iPhone 12 that had 5G for the first time. Like I drove around finding one, and I found one, and it's cool. Right. It was like a gig plus, but I was like, okay. Like I took a picture, took a screenshot, like, and that's
wow.
it. It's cool, but if it's not everywhere, there's no point.
Yeah, I had said for a long time back when 5G was launching, it's like, that's going to get the headlines, especially once it gets really fast and they start doing like 10 gigs and stuff like that. But it goes for a block, and it doesn't go through anything. Right. Like it gets blocked by anything.
And if you turn around,
like a tree,
like I remember when I tested it, Verizon or AT&T, I forget who, someone set up like a testing thing near me in New York, and I was literally facing the wrong way. I'm like, oh, it's not working. They're like, oh, we'll face that way. Like what? Like, so like it matters what direction you're looking in.
Yeah. Your body can block it pretty easily, like Windows. I mean, anyway, back when it was launching, I said, that's not what's going to be great. What's going to be great is all the mid-band stuff, that's the 700 megahertz and 1200 megahertz stuff that people are on all the time is going to get much faster and more reliable. And it really did. A lot of times you went from having like 3 megabits to 30, and 30 is not a headline grabber, but that's a huge difference in how your phone loads a web page, right?
Right. And that's really all you need to do when you're walking around. Sending a text, looking at something online.
Right. So the best thing about 5G is just that it improved the sort of baseline regular performance for everybody a lot.
And if you're at an event with like 20,000 people, you can still do stuff. Whereas with LTE, it would just get like bottleneck, and you could do anything. Now you can actually send texts and receive things and do stuff. But so C2 modem most likely, called C2, millimeter wave most likely, and otherwise, like we probably won't even notice that it's even there. Like it's pretty impressive that, I mean, it took them a long time. It took like 6 years, 7 years, but they're the only, like Qualcomm was literally the only name in town for mobile modems until earlier this year. And the C1, the C1X is fine at the 5G end. Okay, what else we got?
N1 again. I don't think there'll be an N2 by next year. There's no rumors one way or the other, but there's no pressing need for an N2.
Yeah, well, what would it be? Like it's already Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6, right?
Well, it doesn't support all the different Wi-Fi 7 technologies.
Okay.
Right? It supports sort of a minimum, and there's a lot of other stuff that it could be supporting, but it's like people don't have Wi-Fi 7 routers a lot. It already does Bluetooth 6. What might happen, what wouldn't totally surprise me is if they had like an N1X, just like that, the C1X, where it's just like, oh, we made our N1 with like a better manufacturing process, or we tuned this bit or whatever, and it's just more reliable or whatever, Is
there anything left chip-wise that Apple needs to make now? I mean, the Bluetooth Wi-Fi one was a big one, and obviously the modem. Like, is there anything else that they're buying from Broadcom or Qualcomm that they need to?
Nothing big.
Do all of it. Right.
Nothing big. There are all kinds of tiny little things that have to do with antenna access things, and they're not going to start making their own RAM. There's stuff like that. They're not going to start making their own flash chips. For the storage, but pretty much they're done. Like once they get next bit is integration. The next bit is to take the C2, the N1, or the C3 and the N2 or whatever. Build them all into one chip. Qualcomm does that as well. They sell separate modems, but they sell Snapdragons that have modems built in.
The top end Galaxy phones, they all have that. Like it's all integrated.
Yeah, it's all integrated, and you can get some better battery performance out of that.
Sure.
It's really the main reason to do it.
All right. So, I mean, that's kind of it for the 18.
From what we know so far.
Yeah.
Check in 6 months and somebody will have something new.
There might be something different.
Display change.
But so like this time last year, like we kind of knew the iPhone 17 was, we say this every year, but we had a pretty good idea that the iPhone 17 was going to be a big change with the design and stuff. 18, it'll be a modest improvement. The big thing about next year's event, and the reason why they're pushing out the 18, the base 18, is because the iPhone folding iPhone is supposed to come out, and that'll be like the big star. The iFold, that would be funny if they went back to the I names
with a PH, IPHOLD. iFold.
And that there's
They're
all
not going to
sorts
do that.
No,
Apple likes a pun.
It'll probably be
much.
iPhone Fold, right? I mean, that's kind of what they've. Tim Cook has simplified the lines where they don't make up words anymore. They just like iPhone Air, AirPods Max. Like they have their thing. So iPhone Fold is what I assume. We'll do a separate show on that, but. That's a pretty big deal. Like next year could be a really big deal for Apple with there's MacBook rumors, there's smart home rumors, but the iPhone, the folding iPhone, like I've been waiting to see that for a long time. When did the Galaxy Fold came out? I think in 2017, I want to say, because I was still covering Android. It was a while ago.
I don't remember, but they've had pretty good folding phones for about 2 or 3 years.
Sure.
Like those first few years, they were rough. You'd get creases. They wouldn't fold well. But I'd say 2 or 3 years, both like in sort of Pixel Fold and Galaxy Fold. Like there's been a few really quite good folding phones. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what Apple does. The most important thing, I guess, to me is what are they going to do with software?
Right.
To make it the outside screen useful and different from the inside screen, and how you interact with it. And then when the screen's big, what do you do? Like, it's not just a big iPhone. Like it's going to have to bring some iPad-y elements.
Sure. Yeah, they give you the floating windows from iPad OS 26.
Right. Yeah.
Will it just be like 3 or 4 windows? Like you tile them together? Like it's like, you're right. Like it can't just be one big giant window. Like it's going to be at least 2, maybe 4.
And there's going to be something new and unique. Like when they introduced Dynamic Island, something that's just like, here's something we've never had before, but it's especially useful for this device where you show something on a screen and then you open it up, and that thing you had on the screen is now on a bigger screen, and So I'm interested in that. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming next year. I mean, obviously the big Siri overhaul
that too, right,
is supposed to drop in the spring, and then all the smart home stuff. There's a lot.
There's a lot
potentially going on.
It could be a huge year for Apple releases. Roman, I know you're waiting to buy the iPhone, the folding iPhone.
Yes, that's going to be my next major phone purchase, probably.
Probably. Oh, we're already hedging.
Well,
put a bet on the Blue Jays tonight on FanDuel.
Right.
Try to make some money
my
towards
parlay, my 6-way parlay.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, it's still a year's away, and stuff happens, and I might have to spend that money on something else. So,
well, of course, yeah.
But yeah, that's the plan. We'll see.
What if there isn't a folding phone next year? Would you buy an 18? Would you consider buying an 18?
Then I'll probably wait till the 20th anniversary phone.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Oh, that's another one. Yeah, so that's
like a whole
following year. Yeah.
Yeah, the fall of 2027 is supposed to get a whole new thing. And that needs to be its own podcast because we can talk about
for sure.
Right.
First of all, how far they've come in 20 years, but also just this dramatic change they're going to supposedly make. Any rumor you hear for a phone that's 2 years out is sketchy at best.
We'll do that show, Roman, schedule this January at or around January 7th when they announce the original and when the date of the Macworld Expo.
Okay.
The original one. We'll talk about the 20th anniversary.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay.
Idea.
I'll mark that down.
So that's 2027, 20 years after the original phone. It's crazy that it's been 20 years. It doesn't feel like we've had these things for 20 years, but it also feels like we've had them forever.
That's a good segue into the This Week in Apple History.
Yeah,
right. Talk about the iPhone 18.
Yeah. So Kathy's probably wants us to get to the next segment.
I know. Move it along.
So let's So that's the iPhone 18 Pro Max next year. Standard model probably March of 2027.
Yeah. With the E.
Yes, with an E. So with This Week in Apple History, I guess October 30th is kind of a date that Apple likes to call upon, I guess. At least in the recent history, there were two major Apple events. In 2018, Apple held an event at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, which I think you went to, Mike?
I did. It's the only Apple event I've ever been to. It was it's one of those ones that they didn't really call it anything, but the invitation said more in the making.
Yes. Right. And they had different variations of the Apple logo.
Yeah, there was 20 or so or 15 or 20 different ones.
Yeah.
It was a Mac announcement event about using them as creative professional tools.
Yeah.
Right.
Really. That was the thrust of the idea. And it was one of the last, it wasn't the last, but it was one of the last sort of live stage deals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they released a new MacBook Air with the Retina display. They updated the iPad Pro, and they updated the Apple Pencil.
And the Mac Mini got an update as well.
And the Mac Mini got an update as well, yes. And but most importantly, at least to my sons, Lana Del Rey played.
Yes, that was the coolest thing ever. So it was before her new record. If you have any kids, I apologize for cursing, but it's called Norman Rockwell was the name of the record, and Apple wouldn't let her say the name of the record on stage because she had a curse. And the name of the song, one of the two songs she did was called Venice, and she had to change it to Venice Chick because Apple wouldn't let her do that.
That's some SNL stuff right there. That's like when your favorite band goes on SNL and changes the offensive word in their hit song.
Right.
Like on network television, you understand that, but this was an event with a bunch of adults, and it wasn't streamed. You can watch it online now. She played Jack Antonoff played piano, and I'm a Taylor Swift fan, so I know all about him. It was a really cool moment personally. I was like, this is awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, my sons are Lana Del Rey fans. They actually just call her Lana. So
sure.
They just.
I'm not on a first name basis.
I'm not on a first name basis.
It's too many syllables to.
Yeah. So they would have been jealous if I had gone to that event. But
and what was weird about that was it made no sense. All right, they were at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. That was the only tie-in.
Right.
But like in previous events, like where U2 played or I don't know, I think Kanye West. Didn't you go to an event with Kanye West?
Yes, I went to
it. Was like a disaster.
Yes.
But like it was related to music or something. Like this was just a bunch of new Macs. And then they're like, oh, by the way, Lana Del Rey's here and the record hadn't even come out yet. Like it was like new stuff. It was very cool.
Yeah, they didn't like promote. I mean, they were promoting the Macs as like these are the tools for the creative professionals that we love and stuff, but they didn't like highlight Logic or anything like that.
No.
You know, they actually did that in other things when they launched like Mac Studios. They're like, look, you can have 130 Logic stems going and whatever, you know, and they didn't do any of that. So it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, on October 30th, Apple, people probably remember this one because it was only 2 years ago, Apple had this Scary Fast event.
Yeah.
And that's when the M3 was revealed. But I think most remarkably about that event was the 13-inch MacBook Pro was discontinued.
Right.
At that time.
That was the 14-inch
bar.
The most remarkable thing about that event was that I had to work at like 8 o'clock at night because they, for some reason, had it at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
That was so weird because we know it's pre-recorded.
Right.
But, you know, like Tim Cook comes out and it's nighttime and they had like a fog machine and all that stuff.
It was all Halloween-y.
Yeah, it was all Halloween-y and it was Scary Fast, but it wasn't Halloween-y enough that anybody like wore a costume or anything. Like it was just like, oh, we just did it at night. Okay. That's as scary as we're willing to be in our corporate messaging. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was also Space Black made the first Space Black MacBook Pro.
Right.
Right. That's right. Because I wrote something like 800 words about it in my review.
It was a big deal because we had Space Gray forever. Like, it was finally a new color, even though it's basically space gray. Just darker.
So those two Apple events. And one more event on November 1st is Tim Cook's birthday.
Oh.
So,
how old is Tim Cook going to be?
He was born in 1960, so he will be 65.
Okay.
He looks way younger than that.
He does.
I don't think so. I think he looks exactly
65.
I think he looks 65.
I think he looks exactly 65. I think he looks like most like sort of rich corporate execs when they're 65. You know, people who have nutritionists and stuff like that. No, that's about how he looks. Yeah.
Okay.
So
crazy.
Happy birthday to Tim Cook.
I'm sure he's watching. Maybe he'll send me an email.
Thanks, Mike. That's all it'll be. It won't say anything about it. Just thanks.
There was a time when you can send emails to Apple executives and they might reply to you, but I think those days have passed. Yeah.
Tim Cook used to reply. Steve Jobs did, and Tim Cook used to
occasionally,
too, but he probably doesn't anymore.
Steve Jobs definitely doesn't.
No, it's definitely that's true.
Yeah, if you get a reply from Steve Jobs, that's scam.
Right.
That's a scam.
Yes, that's AI, or a scam. So. Now let's talk about the Macworld podcast mailbag. We have one email.
Hold on. We skipped over our other segment.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
You're out of order. So, well, I don't mean that personally.
Right.
I mean that we're like our segments are out of order.
Right.
So the worst thing that happened this week, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Jason, you can go first because
okay,
mine's silly.
There was a report, I guess this isn't surprising because they were testing this stuff out, but that starting next year, they're going to put ads in Apple Maps.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically going to work the way ads do in Yelp or the App Store or something like that. Like you search for Mexican food and you'll get your search results, but among those search results will be sort of highlighted, branded search results that people who own Mexican restaurants paid to have.
Right.
Like they're not there because they're the best option or because they're the closest option. They're there because someone paid for them to be there, which is how they ruined the App Store. And it's how Yelp got ruined. And it's how all these things got ruined. Like, you have to scroll past a whole bunch of sponsored things.
We've been conditioned. Yeah, we've been conditioned to scroll. What would bother me and it's probably going to be like this, is if I'm searching for a specific restaurant and then another one comes up in its place, like in the App Store, if you search for, I don't know, Waze, like something's going to come up first because it's related to Waze, even though you're clearly searching for a specific thing. Like if I'm looking for Italian food and I get a list of sponsors, I'm okay with that. But if I'm looking for, I don't know, Casa de whatever in wherever I am right now, and something I got to wade through other things to get to it, that could get annoying.
Yeah, if you Casa Bonita and you don't get that Mexican restaurant, it's not just that it's a list though, because on a map there will be icons. It'll be
like little
dots on your map. Yeah. Now they'll be logoed, so you'll kind of know, but still, just like on search and the App Store and everything else, these are people. There are results that are not there for the reason that results are normally there. Which is to say that they are the best or closest or most relevant. They're there because someone paid for them to be. And what really just kind of annoys me the most about it is, like, Apple makes $1 gajillion. It's sitting on a pile of gold like a dragon. Like, it doesn't need
they just
find
passed
a way.
$4 trillion. Yeah.
Right. They don't need a way to make more money. That's all this is. This
unfortunately, they do need a way to make more money. Like that's how this economic system we live in works. They do,
right. But they don't. So like this worsens the experience to make more money.
Sure.
And the best argument you could make is that, well, it only worsens the experience by the littlest bit, but it certainly doesn't.
Right.
It's not a change that says like, well, results are going to be more relevant, right? The results are just going to include paid results. And so it just bothers me that like the world's richest company that just makes profit hand over foot. There's a lot of companies worth a lot that aren't making huge profit, right? But Apple does. Apple is like the most profitable thing.
Sure.
They don't need to do this. Stop ruining this. They need to get the ads out of the App Store, or at least the ads in search results in the App Store. Like I should never search for something and get a paid result in the App Store.
Just let them anywhere.
Yeah. Well, it used to be that way, and they used to be proud about it.
Yeah, like that was the biggest difference between them and Google. Like we don't do that.
Right.
Not the biggest, but one of the biggest. And now,
and then
I will say that
ads came in like the categories and stuff like that, which is okay. You're browsing. That's fine. Sure, you get ads there. But then you search for something and there's ads there. Oh, stop it.
Yeah, the specific searches are annoying. And it's a little frustrating because like we were just talking on Slack this morning, like Apple Maps has gotten like legitimately good over the last, I don't know, 18 to 24 months.
Yep.
Like I use it all the time now. I used to go back and forth between Google and always kind of check, like, am I really going to the right place? But it's good. It's great. Like visually, it's fantastic. Like there's nothing better. And it's a good. It's not just the default now. It's like it's a version that somebody would probably pick if they wanted to look for a Maps app. And you just got to kind of take advantage of that by
there are
selling
a few
it up
things
with
about
ads.
it. There's a few things about it that I are new and I wish they would improve. Like I really like that new feature in iOS 26 where they you're able to look at where you went.
Yes.
Right. But it's buried like 7 clicks deep. You have to click your icon and then this and then history. And you have to it's so hard to get to. And I'm like, but this should be a top level thing. Like I should be one tap away from this. Because it's actually genuinely useful.
It's super useful.
It's a little bit wonky right now, and maybe that's why it's buried. Like sometimes it gets things wrong, but and it's all done on device. It's none of that info goes anywhere. It's great. And do more of that and less putting ads in it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, listen, the ads is a rumor. Maybe they'll backtrack after they hear this podcast. Tim Cook is clearly listening to this.
Yeah, they've been kind of testing this stuff anyway.
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah,
sure.
This is totally happening.
Yeah. All right, my worst thing. Well, I have two, but one's. We'll start with this one. I was watching the World Series last night. Roman, you probably saw this, and I don't know. It was like the 15th inning or something, and they had an ad for the new Vince Gilligan show, Pluribus, which comes out next week, next Friday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
I forget. But and it looks great. Like it looks really cool, very interesting. It's going to be if it's not a hit, it's going to be like a phenomenon for at least a little while. Reviews are great. You know, people have been waiting for something from him for a while since Better Call Saul. So it looks good. The teaser's cool. It's like a picture of Rhea Seaborn and she's like screaming or something. Like it's all interesting, but it says Apple TV Plus on it. And it drives me crazy because like you announced that you were changing the name to Apple TV, which is fine. Good.
Right.
So why are you running ads to millions of people that probably cost you God knows how much that say the wrong name of the service? Like it's Apple TV, isn't it? They told us that.
Yeah. I mean, but kind of told us it wasn't a very big announcement. And
I know. So why is it in that press release if they're not going to follow through with it immediately?
Okay. And so the other bit is like marketing companies make all this stuff. Like Apple doesn't make all this stuff.
I get it.
And so they don't know ahead of time. And so the thing was made.
How do they not know?
The marketing companies?
Yeah. How does Apple not say, hey, by the way, when this runs in October 27th, the name of the service is going to be different?
Yeah, because they're not going to tell them that 2 months ago because it'll leak, right? Like that's not like Apple never tells anyone. So there's all that like, and even Apple's stuff. Like when you start a show, it still says that white glowing TV Plus logo. Like
I haven't seen the Apple TV logo anywhere except for on the article that we published. Like they're still using TV Plus all over the place. So
and all of that is, my guess, going to come in the next, I'd say 2 or so weeks. They'll change that little intro video that it's actually a separate video, the little TV logo
on all the shows
before the show.
Yeah.
Well, it's not on the shows. It's
whatever. It's like right before
video.
It says, what does it say, Jason? It says an Apple original, I think is the words they use for like the production of it.
Right. Yeah. So that doesn't change. But then that TV Plus logo glows and it goes boom and that'll change. They'll change the app icon. All that's coming sort of in the 26.1 timeframe. And I bet all the stuff that you're talking about, all those other marketing things and stuff, that'll over the next 3 or 4 weeks, those things will trickle out and it'll spread throughout. But it's remaking marketing materials with external companies that make all this marketing stuff.
So why announce it? Why not announce it when it's ready to go live? When it's done, when it's going, when they're doing it.
Well, because that's like,
what's the benefit of putting it in that press release?
What I'm trying to say is they have to announce it before all that stuff happens.
Why?
Because if they work with because these are external companies that make this stuff, and if you tell an external company, hey, in 2 months we're going to change the name.
I like how you're whispering.
Don't tell anybody. Just make all your marketing materials without the plus. Because when this marketing campaign launches, we're going to have the name changed. Like you've now told a whole company full of people, and they're going to leak it to somebody. And so, so that's how as Apple controls these things, is that they don't tell external people, and then it comes. It's not a big deal because everyone was just calling it Apple TV.
No, I don't think anyone even knows except the people who cover this stuff.
Yeah,
95% of the Apple subscribers, if not more. Like they're not even going to notice that it's a plus or a no plus. Like, who cares? It just bothered me because I was looking at it for like a whole half an inning, but I'm trying to go to sleep and waiting for this damn game to be over.
Okay.
All right. So my last thing, and we discussed whether or not we should bring this up, but I think we have to. So last week, there was a whole bunch of stuff in the news about Trump's ballroom. President Trump's is designing this gigantic ballroom, this $250 million ballroom to go kind of like perpendicular to the White House. And there were all these pictures. They knocked down the whole East Wing to make room for it. Yeah. To accommodate the size of it and the structure.
And it's huge and it's like gaudy gold.
It's huge and it's all that stuff.
And all their images of it were obviously generated by AI because they have stairs to nowhere and facing windows. And
there doesn't appear to be any working bathrooms inside of the thing. I don't think there's any plans for it yet.
I have no idea.
Abstract concept.
Right. But the point is that he's not spending taxpayer money on this, which is its own problem. Like this is the White House. It's a something that's owned by Americans, and we are supposed to pay for it. And when other people pay for it, then there's
it belongs to them.
Right, or they think it does. Like there's this massive conflict of interest where it's like, well, they paid for the White House, they want something in return, right?
Of course.
So you've got it's got to be taxpayer funded, and it's not at all.
Right, and you know, people who support the project will say, well, you know, we shouldn't spend all this money on it, and we probably shouldn't. But as Jason's saying, it's right. Like the White House is special because it belongs to the people. Someone moves in there every 4 years, but it's someone we elect. It's he works for us. Right. That's the point.
It's our house.
And so Trump is accepting or soliciting private donations. And the White House end of last week released a list of those donations. And because the list is alphabetical, like right at the top is Apple. And we don't know how much Apple gave.
It's number 3. You got Altria Group, which I don't know what that is, Amazon, and then Apple.
Right. And, you know, so this list was released like right as they're also showing images of like destruction on the east side of the White
Literally
House.
has bulldozed the East Wing.
Right.
None of this stuff got congressional approval or anything. He's just doing it. It's not just what's being done. You could agree. A person could reasonably agree that, you know what, the East Wing is old and needs to be replaced. Yes, they do need a better entertainment space for events. Like you could agree that this needs to be done, but it's being done in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
Like all the ways that you would look at it and say that is the most corrupt possible way to do this is how it's being done.
Whatever the word you want to use
on top of the list.
Right. And, you know, like I know it's very Pollyanna, but I still think of Apple as a company that cares about morality, who cares about preservation, climate, environmental stuff, and to plaster their name. And again, we don't know how much they gave. They could have gave the least out of all these companies. I don't know. And this isn't the first time. Tim Cook himself donated, I think, $1 million to Trump's inauguration back in January.
Right. They showed up at the Oval Office with his special
today,
crystal gift.
He was in Japan with Trump on his visit to Japan. So, like, he's very, you know, I'm pretty sure I know Tim Cook's politics, but he heads the largest company in the world, or one of them. And he you know, it upsets me that he has to play ball like this, because, you know, and he can't like explain it. He can't like issue a press release like, oh, you know, we're giving this money, blah, 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 blah. Like he's doing it for.
We want our tariff exemption,
of his
you know,
company.
or whatever. Yeah. You know, you can't do that. And the list is full of tech companies,
of course,
big tech all the big tech companies and smaller tech companies are there. And pretty much everybody who's under regulatory scrutiny, like mobile network operators and stuff, and crypto companies, you got your Coinbase
like
and all that,
like
Ripple,
the Winklevoss twins, and they're on there. Yeah. Like all like, and that's what. So it's pretty obvious that Apple. You can argue that they're not forced to do it, but they're kind of forced to do it, because if they weren't on this list, it would be like, oh, where's Apple? Like I wouldn't say that, but someone in the White House would. So they had to contribute.
Yeah.
And I don't know how donations were solicited. I don't know, you know, if it was a phone call to Tim Cook's up. I have no idea. But
it's just the backdoor.
It's upsetting
corruption of the political system like this. That's like grease those palms, pay people in the back channels through something that's legal but unseemly, and get what you want.
Right.
And because we do nice things for the companies that give us money. That whole thing upsets me, and it's just it's upsetting to see that Apple is part of that. It's upsetting to see that a lot of companies are part of that, but we don't run a Meta podcast, so
that'd be pretty boring if we did, because I don't know much about Meta. So it's just upsetting, and it's not going to get any better. Like Apple constantly has this threat of tariffs looming over their head. For however long this continues.
Lots of stuff. Tariff, antitrust. They're under antitrust fire all over the world. But yeah.
So, the little company that I, when I was an Apple user in the mid 2000s, it felt like I was part of a small club that was, I don't know, not so much anti-establishment, but a little bit. That's how they started way back in the 80s. Steve Jobs was against IBM, and that's why Apple was the little company that rose up against the big corporations, and now they're just playing ball with everybody else.
They're just the biggest. I was really happy when I saw that. I can't remember what the name of it was, but there was that terrorist shooter that had an iPhone, and the Justice Department
San Bernardino case.
Yeah, they got the iCloud information and stuff, but they wanted to unlock the phone,
and they fought.
Of course, they can't, so they said, okay, we'll write new firmware we can load onto this phone that will defeat your lockout try attempt thing. And Apple fought it and said, no, we can't do that, because there's no way to do that for this one thing.
Right.
Like then we make a tool, and what, you're going to keep it safe? Nobody in the CIA or whatever is going to sell it to the highest bidder. Like, forget it. No. And they fought that, and they were right to fight that.
Yes.
They were absolutely right to do it. There were bigger things at stake. Not to mention
they got a lot of flack for doing that.
And they got a lot of flack for doing that, but they took a right moral principle, but they were doing that under an administration where they could do that. And I feel like now they can't do that.
I wonder what would happen
see them have those principles.
If a case like that came up now, what would they fight it?
I would.
I'd like to think they still would.
Yeah.
Because that's a line I don't think they would cross, but
I think they wouldn't cross that in places like the EU and stuff where they're not going to get obvious retribution.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they're going to get massive, instant, obvious retribution from this administration.
Sure,
but I bet they would cave. That's the feeling
I'm
get
going
when
to
I
take
see
the
them on
opposing
these
view
lists
and say that's their line in the stand, and they wouldn't go past that.
Okay.
All right.
When I see them on these lists, like for this list of the ballroom donors, and when I saw them contributing to the inaugural fund and showing up with this golden crystal glass thing for Trump's for the White House, like when I see those things, it makes me feel anyway that if this administration pressured them to do something like this, they would cave. Because this administration would make an Apple only tariff of 1,000%.
They could,
and they would hit them back instantly with instant political retribution.
It's worth pointing out that none of the things Jason just said were done under previous administrations. Like, they didn't donate to funds. Yeah. They never even had lobbyists back in the day.
They had very minimal lobbyists.
Sure.
Much less than other much bigger companies.
Yeah. It's just that things are different. Kathy, I'm sorry if this is turning into a political podcast.
Yeah, Roman's giving us the rounded up.
We got Roman's giving us the high sign here. I didn't want to get political, and I apologize to anyone who's rapidly skipping past this segment. All right, let's get into some fun stuff. Reader mailbag. We're gonna have a lot of comments next week, Roman. So get
oh boy.
You're muted, Roman.
It's a good thing I was muted because I had a frog in my throat, and because I'm still kind of recovering from my illness last week. But so last week we talked about the M5 MacBook Pro review, and a reader named Gabriel sent us an email asking, as the M5 chip benchmark suggests that its raw performance is almost double the M1, how confident are you about the affordability of the future A18 Pro MacBook with the next M5 MacBook Air also on the horizon?
Yeah. I'm not, honestly.
Yeah, so just to give some background, in case people, I think most people know, but just a quick background.
Yeah,
There's a rumor that Apple's going to make a cheap MacBook based on the iPhone chip, essentially, because all the chips are based on the iPhone chip. And using that iPhone chip as a way to make a cheap MacBook. Now, the funny thing is these rumors have they've not necessarily died down, but we haven't heard anything in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while.
We thought it was maybe coming out this fall, but it looks like no way.
Yeah, and Jason was talking about how Apple's doing this shift now, and it seems like they're doing like the consumer stuff at the beginning of the year, the pro stuff at the later of the year. Maybe we'll see that MacBook
maybe
the spring of next year which would come out at the same time as the MacBook Air, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
sure.
I actually think it really depends on how they price it. But if it's $800, I think there's not enough performance gap that you would do that. But if it's $700, if it's $699, and it gets real interesting real fast.
Yeah,
like good enough becomes good enough.
The question there makes sense because if the M5 MacBook Air with 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage is $999 with the kind of performance that we just saw, that Roman, it's going to be basically the one that you just tested, a little bit less sustained performance because of
disabled or
something maybe
like that.
But it's going to be close. So it's really, really good. So that iPhone chip model would need to be like Jason said, like $600, $600 to $700 to make it worth it. If it's $899, what's the point?
But if that chip is an A19 Pro,
like
we've been talking A18 all this time, but what if it's an A19 or an A19 Pro or the version of the A19 Pro that's
close to the M5,
the iPhone Air that's kind of one quarter disabled or something? Like it's still not going to be anywhere close to the M5, but it's one of those things where at a steep discount is good enough, right? Like and for a lot of things, like for $700, for a lot of things, something like an A19 is going to be just great. It's going to be fine.
I think it has to be no more than $699.
Yeah,
maybe $749, maybe, because $250 is 25% less. That's substantial.
Right. Yeah,
but I think once you start getting into 800, like just get a MacBook Air, especially when they're always on sale on Amazon.
Exactly, I agree. Yep.
And also, Gabriel's is my son's name, so I automatically like that guy's name.
All right. We have more?
No, but I was going to ask, so you guys don't think there's a chance that the M5 MacBook Air would go up?
There's always a chance.
They just cut the price last year. Why would they? Not why, but it would be weird if they increased it.
We're in a situation where everything's going up, tariffs are going up, all this other kind of stuff. So if it's $10.99 and then they do one of those things where they throw you a bone and they go, it's really getting rid of the lowest cost option, and you get more storage.
If they give you 512 gigs,
right,
and they cut it in half and give it to you, okay, maybe,
So it could be $10.99, and they give you the $6 of flash that they charge $100 for.
Costs $200 for you.
Yeah, it could be something like that.
That makes sense. And then if you have the other one at $749, that's $256.
Yeah.
Not to jump ahead, but next year is it next year that we're supposed to get the touchscreen OLED Mac, and those are rumored to be much more, I don't know how much more expensive, but more expensive than the current MacBook Pro. So if the scale's going up on the Pro side,
sure,
maybe Apple raises, maybe Apple preps everybody by raising the prices on the consumer side as well in the spring. I don't know. I'm making stuff up, but I guess my point is, it just seems like there is a setup possible where prices could go up. That's general,
I think there needs to be at least $250 to $300 difference between the MacBook Air and this iPhone chip thing.
Yeah. And I guess my point is, if they raise the price, to $1049, that gives Apple some leeway to make that iPhone based, closer to 800 than what we would like.
Yeah, and we've been asking for 512 forever. So if they up the storage,
Yeah,
I can see that
now.
happening.
Now that they all have 16, we say, yeah, that's the first thing you should do.
Right.
Because there's no upgrades. Right.
Yeah. That's the only email or comment I picked because I thought we would talk longer about this.
We did talk kind of long about it.
Yeah, we did.
That was good.
We're well in over an hour here.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So that wraps up the Macworld Podcast Mailbag.
All right, good. Oh, that's it. We're done. So that does it for this episode.
Go an hour and a half this week.
Yes.
an hour 10. We're getting there. Our goal is to get it to be at or around an hour.
Yeah.
You should, Roman, cut out all that ballroom stuff.
Yeah. Just skip that.
All right. That does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast, episode 957. Thank you to Jason Cross.
Thank you.
Thanks to Roman Loyola.
Thank you.
And thanks to you, the audience, for tuning in. You can subscribe to the Macworld Podcast in the podcast app on Spotify, YouTube, at the Macworld Podcast channel, or through any other podcast app. Any comments or questions, contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, or Threads. Email me, Michael_Simon at foundryco.com. Email Jason, email Roman, reply on a TikTok or something. You know, we'll find it. Search. Hold on. You know how to find us. I don't have to say that again. Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about everything. Damn it, Roman.
Why is this Roman's fault after all this time?
It.
But you are in control.
I keep telling you, write your own.
Write your own.
Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about the latest in the world of Apple. See you next time.